Hello, my good and gorgeous people. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Glad, happy, and excited to be back here. This is yet another good and gorgeous day that we gathered here to just have some fun, have some talk. It's Latez here. In case you're new to this place, you're so much welcome. And for those who are coming back, thank you so much for always coming back. This is Thursday. They would like us to have a new thing on our channel. You know, Thursday is always known as a day off, throwing it back, maybe back then, and I'd like us to have some new vibes for our Thursdays. So I'll be coming here with some stories about my past, stories about maybe the things I've encountered in life, and because our channel is all about encouraging each other, maybe it might encourage someone who maybe is going through maybe something I went through one time maybe, and by that we'll get to interact and even get to know each other more. So today I will be answering some questions that will help us maybe to get to know me better, because there are some people here maybe we have not interacted maybe in the past years. You know, there are some who I know maybe they are my friends and maybe we got to learn with. But in case for that person who maybe you've never even maybe met me, I'll give you an opportunity to get to know me. And maybe to start with, if someone came and asked you today that who is Latez, and you know, this is a question that is usually at times hard and at times easy. But Latez is just like a name which I came to get as I was growing. Because my real name is Leah. I'm LatezNjagi, a daughter of Jagi, my dad, and my mom, who her name is Jerry, parents that I love so much. And I'm a fourth born in a family of 6. Yeah, I have 5 siblings, so we are 6 in our family. I have 3 who are older than me. Who is the first born is a brother, second born a brother, third born is a sister, then I'm the fourth born. I have a sister who is following me, and then our last born is a brother. So that is the family I've come from. No, as in total we are a family of 8. It's a family I love, and it has always been a joy being born in the Jaggies. Second question, maybe where do I come from, or maybe where did I grow up in? First and foremost, I'm one person who have been brought up in the village, and I come from Riaine, the precise Riaine, a place called Kiabugia. For those people who know the place, that is where I come from. It's just a small village somewhere, and that's where I've grown up the better part of me, because I actually left there when going to high school. From 1, that's when I left home. So I've been there all along my years, and I have a privilege of getting to have my entire childhood being in one place. You know, there I hear people saying maybe you were born in this place, you may be relocated and such like. Myself, I'm privileged. I got to grow up in where I was born. That is where I've grown up, and that's where has been home. It's my ancestor. It's our ancestral land. That is in Mulanga. So that's where I come from, and I love the place. Other question: what kind of a child were you? What kind of a child was Raquel? You know, much of it you get to be told, because at times you don't quite remember a lot about how you were as a child. Because me, as always, I've been that stubborn girl since I was young. That is something that I get to hear from my parents and even maybe my older siblings. Yeah, I've been so like those children who always know what they want, studying firm with what I want. I've been those children that are a bit quiet. I've never been that self-spoken since I was young. So not much of, you know, when growing up, our parents were so strict. You see, something like discipline was nothing to negotiate about. So discipline was for everyone. So in one or another, I may not say that I was not disciplined, because I was, but I think it's because of the parents. Because comparing to my other siblings, I may not count myself as the most disciplined, but at least by the strictness of the parents, I was disciplined. I was that jovial young girl. So nothing much about my behavior being a child, because I had no like extra behavior than the normal. But what I know is that I was a bit stubborn, I'm sure. The family did I grow up in? I grew up in a, we happen not to have grandparents. So I'm one person who have grown up just knowing my dad and my mom. We never had the privilege of getting to see our grandpa or our grandma. And again, my dad didn't have a brother who maybe we could be having maybe an uncle or an auntie by the side. So I just grew up already knowing that if it's not my mom, it's my dad. In one way, it's usually good because you like grow up with responsible parents. Parents will know if in case my child gets home, there's no place that maybe they can go, maybe even have a snack or get to eat. It's the good thing of growing in such kind of a family is you grow up with parents who are so intentional about parenting, and they are also very 100% into your life because they know in one or another you have nowhere where else you can go for counsel, where else you can go even maybe like even get a meal. Because I always see for children who have grandmothers, even if their mothers they are not allowed, even if they go to their home place and there's no something to eat, you feel comfortable going to your social place and maybe you get a snack you can eat or maybe something to eat as you await maybe your parents to come. So I'm one person who grew up just knowing my mother's kitchen, nowhere else. And one thing, it has taught me a lot because there's a lot that you get to learn when you grow up in such kind of a family. And one thing that I thank my parents is that they showed us how important it is at times to like being so committed and being so self-driven in whatever you want. And I've seen my parents being so hardworking to raise their 6 children, and it has taught me a lot. So that is one of the things that at times I can say I have enjoyed growing up in a nuclear family. Not that I couldn't have wished to have an extended family. At times when you're young, you get to admire. When you go to other home places and you're like, they have shows, they have maybe auntie by the other side and such like having that kind of a big homestead. But when you get to grow up, you're like, you should just appreciate wherever you come from. And at the moment, I don't see anything I missed, but maybe when I was younger, I felt like I was missing a lot. How was church life when growing up? And one thing that I can thank my parents for is ensuring that we all grew up in church. From the firstborn to the lastborn, even if there's someone maybe among us who is not committed to church right now, it's because of their self-will, because my parents were so committed to ensuring that we all go to church. And not just going to church, we all follow the protocols that are light in church. We happen to grow up in an Anglican church, that is ACK, and I love the church till now. And anytime I go home, I'll always visit the church because it has made me who I am. In one or another, there are some morals and some principles that I got to learn from there. And in case you're raising your child, just take them to church. Even if maybe you feel it's not maybe building anything in them, I always urge someone, just if you get the opportunity, take them to church. Because we had the opportunity of maybe being in Sunday school. After Sunday school, we had an opportunity of going to brigade, we got to youth, and we went each and every of these stages when our parents were monitoring us. Parents had to ensure that if there's any occasion that is in church that is concerning Sunday school, maybe even brigade in youth, those conferences and such like, they were very supportive to ensure that we went to those things. And I like that because it helps someone other than just growing up. You get to like even grow spiritually. So I'm one person who grew up 100%, not missing a Sunday service, even a single Sunday. If I ever missed maybe going to church on Sundays, it's after I grew up and maybe I left my mom's house. Because in Jage's family, missing a Sunday service was an unheard of. In case you tried and missed a service, you'll be answerable. When maybe dad and mom get to come back by after church, you have to answer why maybe you never made it to church. And you start giving excuses. Oh, maybe I was cleaning uniform and such like, and that was something that could raise an alarm at home. So kudos to my mom and dad for doing such kind of an interesting. That is something that at times parents are taking lightly nowadays, but back then it was a given. And the another question, which is not question number five, school life for me. School life for me was just normal, nothing special about it, because I happened to just in primary school. I just went to two primary schools. One which I went just for nursery, and from there I changed and went to another different school which I started from my class 1 up to class 8. For those who come from my home place, in nursery I went to Kiabulia Primary School. And then from there, from class 1 all the way to class 8, I went to Banyingi Academy. They were just neighboring each other. Actually, the fence was just like the boundary from the primary and where our school was. And I thank my parents for sacrificing and taking me to such a good school, because I can say the school was good, because it was a school that maybe at our times, it was one of the best schools that was in our locality, and it took sacrifice. So mom and dad, thank you for that. That's why I finished my class 8. And though I didn't perform well, because I was a joker, I know at times. And I went to a school in Kangema, which is Gateway Girls, which I joined Form 1, and I went up to Form 4. I was a disciplined girl, because I told you that discipline in our family was by default. My parents didn't joke with discipline. That was paramount. I'm not the kind that you'll be Form 1, Form 2, and then from there to go to another school. No, that was never tolerated in my family. So that's why I went up to my Form 4, that is in the Girls. It's in Kagema, still in Murang'a County. It was a nice school, though it was so cold there comparing to home. At least we managed. From there, I got to attain some good grades. Even if I was a joker in primary school, at least in high school, due to the pressure that I got after failing in my KCPE, because my dad was like, I even needed to repeat, and I refused. So by the time I was going to Form 1, I was very decided that I want to do well in my papers, I want to do well in my academics, and at least I got a good grade that took me to campus. Yeah, I got an opportunity, and I joined university that is far away in Kericho. It's called University of Kabianga, where I got to study from first year all the way to fourth year. I did a course in bachelor's in hotel and hospitality management. It's a course that maybe I desired since I was maybe in high school and such, like something that I wanted to do. And I thank God that my parents were not against it. It was not maybe what they wanted, but at least they didn't like objective. They were like, if that is what you want, go ahead, go and do it. So that's what I pursued for 4 years. And after the 4 years, at least I got a second class upper. I was a good girl. I think from there I took my academics serious. All through my campus life, I don't think I ever repeated any paper. How did I fail in any paper? There's no paper that I ever repeated from all the way to first year to fourth year. So, and from there, after attaining my degree, I think my school life got a pause. I'm missing not a full stop, because maybe I'll ever think of advancing, but I put a comma there. Still thinking maybe I'll ever do my master's, but not so sure, but maybe. So that was all about my school life. A worst memory of me growing up. Memories that changed, there are many. A worst memory of my childhood. One of the memories that I remember that hurt me so bad when I was a child, is losing my grandfather. Grandfather, dad to my mom. And as I told you earlier, that I didn't grow up in a family that had grandparents. And now, the only place where we used to get the love of maybe a grandpa and a grandma is now where my mom comes from. Not far away from home. So we really used to visit that place, and it was lovely getting grandpa there and such like. And as young as, we were so young. When myself I was a bit younger, but at least I could understand. I remember my Gukapa scene. It was such a bad moment for all of us, because we loved him so much. He was so welcoming at his home. We thank God that our Shosho is still there, and she has been strong all along for us all. the grandchildren. But grandpa living was something that was so unfortunate, and maybe something that we didn't see when we were that young, because he was not that much, he wasn't that much old, and he was not sick even for a long duration of time. And because after him passing, the like there's a vibe that went. There's a vibe that maybe missed in that grandpa's place. And since then, we learned to live without him, but it wasn't one of the things that maybe we would ever wish. So that is a memory that is amongst the many I encountered when I was young. And maybe the next question, a best memory or a lovely memory that I can remember growing up. One of my best memories is the games we used to play at home. You see, I've told you that we are six in our family. And other than our last born, who maybe we have a very big difference, because he came when we were a bit grown up. Now, we were like five of us, and we could attract each and everyone. Maybe you come with your friends at home, and our home used to look like a nursery, because there was a play area where maybe children from the entire village used to come and pray. So at times after school, we used to pray until it's dark. And it was so fun, a lot of noise, a lot of shouting. And that is one thing that I loved about coming from a home that has many siblings. And for parents who are choosing to have one or two children, please don't be unjust to your son or daughters. Be unjust to those children. At times, having many siblings is a blessing, because I think most of my best memories that I have, it's memories with my sisters and my brothers, especially when we are young. Us praying, us maybe doing house chores together, us just having those story times and such like. So that is one of the best memories, because we grew up loving each other and caring about each other and just having that kind of unity. Our home was always a happy place with so many children. You could never come and lack children shouting in our homestead. And that is one of the best memories that maybe I get to remember even now when I'm old. Maybe my hardest part of my childhood. One thing that I can say I faced as a child when growing up is growing up, maybe I happened to be born between two sisters, one who is older and one who is younger. And when growing up, because we are so immediate to each other, like when we were in primary school, you could get that maybe one is in class 7, the other one is in class 4, the other one is in class 3. So we were like following each other. And there's this trend even teachers had of comparing us. And each and every comparison that was always made, I was always like compared to be the worst amongst them all. And that is something that I didn't like when growing up, because we are not all blessed the same way. The kind of being compared to my sisters was one of the hardest things that I got to grow up with, because to some point, I used to feel I'm the lesser of them. Because maybe academically, teachers used to feel that they perform better than I do. Maybe even discipline-wise, because I think maybe they were more disciplined than I am. And I didn't really like that thing of comparing me. And at times it made me even become the bad one, because I didn't like that comparison. And it happens a lot. And I always tell parents, if at all you have children, stop comparing one child to the other, because it like fix something in you which you grow up with. Because that is something that I grew up with. Every time, always knowing that I will be compared. In case of anything, I'll be compared. You see your sister did this, you didn't. Between you and your sisters, this, and this. And at times I was like, I felt maybe it would be better if I was born a gent. Maybe this comparison will not be happening. I felt the comparison was not going so well with me, and it affected a lot in me. That is something that you get to realize maybe after growing up. Remember, like, even when I finished class 8 and I was told to repeat my class 8, my sister was in the behind class. Like when I was finishing class 8, she was in class 7. And now, me being told to repeat, they wanted me like to be in the same class with my sister. Remembering the kind of comparison that always happens between the teachers and such like, and I was like, there's no way I can be in the same class with my sister. I better go with my poor marks and my poor grades to Form 1, other than repeating and studying with my sister. Because I used to feel it will just affect me emotionally. Teachers will be coming, do you know what? You have a sister who is younger than you, and she does better than you do. You cannot be like your sister. That thing used to piss me off. I was not like getting pissed off because my sisters are doing well. I was getting pissed off because why can't you let me be? Let them be who they are and allow me to be who I am. And it really didn't sit well with me. But either way, for now, I'm healed past that. My last question, which is the 10th question. What lessons, or maybe what is that you learned from your childhood? What did my childhood teach me? One thing my childhood taught me, that which it affects me positively or negatively, is dependence. I'm one person who learned being independent since I was young. And I thank my parents for teaching me that, because they had no other way they could have done it. Because one thing, growing up in the Jaggers, you had to be dependent. One thing you've had that we didn't have grandparents, we didn't have maybe we always say that at my dad mkubwa and my dad mdogo, we didn't have that. It's just my dad and my mom. So in one or another, they had to teach us independence since we are young. As growing up, you just learn to do chores early enough. You just like learn to be dependent on your own. So, and being that we didn't have go to your social sprays and get I don't know what and what. It's either what you have, you use that. What you don't have, you just leave it. That is something that we grew up with. That you have to be contented with what you have. If you don't have something, just know how you can survive without it. And so that is something that maybe I'm happy about, but so at times I feel it affects me negatively. I think the reason why I always feel okay even being single is that I learned independence. And I always feel that life can move on regardless. Either single, married, or whatever, I always feel that I can manage because I learned to manage life either way. So it taught me to be strong, it taught me to be independent, it taught me to adapt. It taught me to adapt. And that is one thing that my dad always taught us, that you can adapt in whichever environment. You see, the statement that says when you go to Rome, you do like Rome does. That is one thing that dad always taught us, that life can be unfortunate. The things maybe you get now, you may not get them in life. And how can you survive when you don't have that thing that maybe you get in now? And that is skills that I feel, those are skills that I feel they are very important and they have made my adulthood easy. So I thank my parents so much because how they brought us up, it tells much of how what we earn today. And one thing I can tell is looking at the lives of my sisters and my brothers, my parents did a good job. Brought us up well, and they taught to teach us very important skills of growing up. We didn't feel like we were missing anything. They were so responsible and they taught us responsibility. I'm one person who have come up from a family that has a lot of love. Me, I don't know what it means or what it says to come from a broken family, a family where maybe mom and dad are not in good terms, a family where maybe responsibilities are for moms alone and the dad is absent. Those are things that I've never seen in my family since I was young and up to now. And I've grown up seeing the responsibility of a mother and a dad, good relation between the parents. And I think that is one thing that I'm really looking up to. If I'll ever get to settle in marriage, that is one thing that I would love to have. A family that supports each other. Maybe the mom knows her loads, the dad knows her loads, and it becomes very easy to bring up children. Because I don't think that bringing up 6 children is easy. And we grew up in the best of life. I can't say that there's anything that I ever missed when growing up because I used to dress up well. I used to live well. We had a good home. And I think it's because of the hard work and the relation of parents. Because at times when parenting becomes for one parent, it becomes hard for the other parent. But when they unite, they really bring up a good family. So that is one thing that I can say. I learned from my parents that those are the things that you say you learn directly or even indirectly. So there's a lot that I learned when growing up. And I'm even looking forward to implement much of it in my adulthood or maybe in my parenting. And that was part of my childhood journey. Much and much will be coming. So just always click in on Thursdays to get to know more about my past. And until next time, bye bye. Love you.